Hello there, YouTube. I will be reviewing the Umarex Smith & Wesson M&P BB Air Pistol. This review is going to be subjective based on my opinions, and I am not a professional reviewer. However, I have had this gun for 2 months, and I would like to give you guys my opinions on it. Before I begin, I want to stress gun safety. Please wear protective glasses anytime you plan to shoot a weapon or air pistol. Keep the safety on unless you intend to shoot the weapon. Please keep your finger off of the trigger until you are ready to shoot the gun, and never point this gun or any other weapon at a live person or animal. That being said, let's begin the review. I bought this gun for $50 without the tax from my local Bass Pro Shop. It says on the packaging that it is a Smith & Wesson M&P pistol. However, it is only modeled after the Smith & Wesson M&P. It is actually made by a company called Umarex. That is spelled U-M-A-R-E-X. You also may recognize this gun from the video game Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. It is the exact same design as the G18 in that game. The only thing that looks different is that in the game it has an extended magazine that points out at the bottom, whereas this one is modeled after one that would have a standard magazine in it. So that's the only thing that would look different. So let's start beginning to talk about the pros of the gun. First of all, it's really easy to handle if you're right-handed. I think it was actually made for right-handed shooters. It's really easy to release the magazine, which would be right here as the mag release. It's easy to turn on and off the safety, which is located right above the trigger on the right side. When it's forward and the white part is showing, it's safe. And when you push it down, there's an orange part that's showing, and that means it's firing. Also, it's really easy to access the CO2 cartridge just by simply going like that, and then closing it back up again, like so. Right now, I'd like to show you guys how to change the CO2 cartridge, since I had some issues with that at first. Already in here is a spent CO2 cartridge. So you simply twist this bolt that is at the bottom to release the old air cartridge. You can push it out through that side. Then you would take a new air cartridge, and I recommend putting a dot of Pel gun oil. This stuff is made by Crosman on the top of it. This will lubricate your gun so that way you do not have to open it up and actually clean the barrel manually. So you simply put the air cartridge back in there, and then you twist this bolt again to tighten it. Now this is tricky because when you think it's done tightening, it actually isn't. Right now it's tight, however you actually need to keep on tightening it to puncture so that way the air gets released. Now when doing this, you will notice that it punctures at the top, but it is not completely screwed in, so air will escape. So you must do this really fast, otherwise you will lose some CO2 compression. And if you could hear that, you could hear it kind of the air coming out, but then you have to tighten it again so that way it's secure. Make sure it's all the way tight so that way you don't lose compression, and you simply put it back like that. Also, another good thing is that this magazine is very easy to load without a speed loader. You simply take this and pull it all the way down. It automatically locks. There's nothing that you have to move it. It always works. It's not fickle. And then you would take BBs and simply put it in right there. It's much easier to do without just one hand. I mean, you can do it. You can load multiple BBs at one time. It's tricky at first, but you learn to kind of have it down at an angle, put the BBs in here, and they automatically fall into there. Once you're done, you take this button at the bottom and you simply push it, and that thing comes back up, and the BBs are secure. Also, this gun is very realistic looking, except on the right side of the gun there is a safety warning. I found that on pretty much every gun. It's standard, just tells you to please be careful with this gun. Also right here is where it says it's made in Taiwan, and tells you to visit their website, umarexusa.com. However, on the left side of the gun, it has the Smith & Wesson logo on there. Right there it has M&P 40 right there. It has all of these parts that a real gun would have. It's molded the same. It has the same sights as the real gun would have. Also, it has a fiber optic rear sight, as you can see right there. It really does help when you're aiming. It's very comfortable grip. I have big hands though, so it's much easier for me to hold. I feel like if somebody with smaller hands was to handle this gun, it may be too big for them. But that is just my opinion. Also, it has an RIS system located on the bottom of the front gun. You can add any kind of attachment that you would like, such as a laser pointer, a flashlight, anything that you would desire. Also, the packaging and manual claim that it gets 480 feet per second, and though I have done a chrono test on it, I do believe it gets around this speed for about the first 3 magazines that you put through it with a new cartridge. After those first 3 magazines that you put through it, it starts to lose speed significantly, but it's still able to do a lot of damage and puncture tin cans or targets or whatever you are shooting at. I would say that it would be able to do this and puncture cans or whatever your target is for about another 6 or 7 mags after those first 3 initial ones. So after about a total of 9 or 10 magazines or about 180 shots, it does lose its ability completely to shoot a BB, and it will be necessary to change the CO2 cartridge again. When you turn the safety on, this is another neat feature. The safety is on at the moment. You are still able to pull the trigger. And that's really nice because I have seen a lot of guns where you put the safety on and the trigger is locked. People still have a tendency to try and pull the trigger when the safety is on, and they can cause damage to the trigger function or the safety function on the gun. And it's really nice that they have included this feature into the gun. Now, the cons of the gun. Even though it does look realistic, it doesn't act like it. The top of it is fixed. It doesn't blow back. It doesn't even move back just to play with. Also, all of these things that are on the side of the gun, that are on the normal gun and have a function, these are all just molded into the plastic. They do not move. They do not push in. Nothing of the sort. Also, the front sight does not have a fiber optic. It is just simply a white painted dot on it, which can get annoying. Because the fiber optics, I have noticed, really do help when you aim. Also, of course, the magazine is not realistic looking. It's much thinner, but they had to do this so that way you could have the magazine or the CO2 cartridge in the butt of the gun. Also, like I was saying before, the CO2 cartridge to change is tricky, simply because this cover does get into the way when you are tightening it. And again, you have to do it tightly or else you will lose air compression through it. Also, it feels really plasticky. I realize it's not made of metal, but it does feel unrealistic. However, it doesn't take away from the function of the gun. I don't think it would be easy for a left-hander to shoot it. Of course, you could pull the trigger, no problem, but it would be much harder with one hand to turn the safety on and off. It would be much harder to release the magazine as well. Also, when you handle this gun, this bolt that is in the butt of the gun, you can hear it shaking, and I hope that you can hear that. And even though it's not loud, it's unrealistic, and it does get to be annoying. Also, when you change the magazine, it can be very tricky. Like I said before, even though it's easy to load, the way that it works is that it has one BB that sticks out of the top right there, and when you put it inside and it's fully secured inside, that one BB is released into the chamber of the gun. However, when you put it into the gun and you put it into the mag well, if that BB hits the side of the gun and it is fully loaded, it will spray out inside of the gun, and I have had BBs jam that way, but most of them do just fall right out, and it just gets to be annoying when you have to reload a gun after you just reloaded it. Overall, I feel like this gun is a very great buy for any kind of beginner or advanced shooter for air pistols. Once again, I would like to stress gun safety. Please wear protective eyeglasses whenever you are handling this weapon. Keep the safety on unless you intend to shoot it. Please keep your finger off of the trigger until you are ready to shoot the weapon, and never point this weapon or any other weapon at a live person or animal. That concludes my review of the Umarex Smith & Wesson M&P 40 air pistol. Thank you for watching, and happy shooting.